All right, hey guys. Okay, so this is class 4, second weekend. I have one more full weekend, which is next weekend, until it's time to take the class exam, pass that, and then go on to take the state exam. So I'm gonna do this a little bit different today and probably from my other videos. Instead of reading from the notes that I typed up on my laptop, I'm going to just read the highlighted parts that he told us we have to pay attention to. That will be either on the state test, on the class test, or both. So that's what I'm gonna do, because I do feel like it'll also help me memorize a little bit easier. And like I said in one of my videos, he kind of goes a little fast. So it's like when I try to type up what he's saying or notes that he might write, he moves on. I get it, we have to move fast. So yeah, I'm going to focus on the highlighted parts of the book. Today we went through three chapters, 10, 11, 12. Chapter 10 is about legal descriptions. So we went through surveyor's methods. We learned that the surveyor's method is the oldest method and is the most accurate method. Point of beginning. The point of beginning is the survey. The survey begins by giving directions from the monument to the edge of the property. That's what the point of beginning means. Okay, we learned what a township is. A township is 6 miles square, not 6 square miles. There's a difference. So 6 miles square contains 36 square miles. A 24-mile square area is called a check. A township is divided into 36 sections. And then it shows you the sections, like the townships subdivided into sections, and it shows you like what that looked like. This is actually, chapter 10 is definitely a chapter that I need to study, because I was confused basically the whole time during class. I was like, what? So yeah, I have to come back and study this for sure. We went over plat method. Plat method is also known as the lot and block method, which is a method used to identify small parcels of property in subdivided areas and cities. The APN, we learned about APN. The APN is a unique number that is assigned to properties, real properties. 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet. 1 section contains 640 acres, and 1 mile is 5,280 feet. All things that has to be memorized for math problems. And then we went through the chapter 10 math problems. I was having a hard time with those, but well, not necessarily. Some of them I was, maybe one. Yeah, one of them I was, so I do want more practice for that. But overall, I want more practice for the math problems, because it's like, when you do it, as you're doing it, as the instructor is teaching you how to do it, you get it, but then you get the test and now you don't remember how to do it. Yeah, that be me sometimes. So the math problems have to be studied regardless. Okay, so chapter 11 is about real estate contracts. I just want to make sure it's still recording. Hold on. Yeah, we're good. Chapter 11 is about real estate contracts. So we learned that there are 4 essential elements necessary to create a valid contract. The first one is a lawful subject. The contract has to be for lawful or legal purposes, and not contrary to public welfare. So, for example, an agreement between 2 people to rob a bank would not be a valid contract. Okay. Number 2, offer and acceptance. There must be an offer and acceptance, agreement, or meeting of minds. This is a mutual understanding of the terms of the contract. When an offer is made by one party, it has to be accepted by the other party and communicated across all parties. Third thing is consideration. Consideration must specify, or sorry, no, consideration okay, so what I have highlighted is this includes cash, personal property, real property, or enforceable promises. And then what it says a consideration is it doesn't tell me what a consideration is. Actually, it says a contract must specify a sufficient consideration. Either valuable or good consideration may be sufficient. Valuable consideration is money or anything of value that can be converted to money. This includes cash, personal property, real property, or enforceable promises. Okay. Fourth is competent parties. All parties have to be competent. They can't be losing their minds, out of their minds, or whatever. They can't be a minor. Yeah, that's it. They have to be able to comprehend the contract, basically. Okay, creation of contract. This is not the essentials of a valid contract. Now this is like another part. Creation of contract. Creation of contract is basically you have an offer and acceptance. So now it's a written wait, it's not, I guess it doesn't have to be written. No, it doesn't say it has to be written. It says that when the offer of one party is accepted, the acceptance of the party is communicated to the person who made the offer. Oh, it does. Okay, so it says delivery of a contract to all parties is proof that communication has been placed. So basically, you have to deliver something that shows proof that all parties involved are aware of this contract. It's feeling kind of warm. So my freaking phone will shut down and stop recording if it gets too hot, if it overheats. Hold on. I'm going to just turn the AC on and just turn it down because I don't want it. If it closes while I'm talking, I'm gonna be very honest, I'm done recording. Okay, I'm done. Next thing we went through is statute of fraud. Okay, so statute of fraud requires a contract for the transfer of a right or interest. So it basically just means that the written contract, well it means that it has to be written for it to be enforced. That's basically what it means. It has to be written for it to be enforced. Then there are statute of limitations. The statute of limitations provide time limits during which parties are allowed to bring legal action to enforce their rights under the contract. So you have the oral contracts. Oral contracts must be brought within 4 years. Written contracts may be enforced if action is brought within 5 years. Oh, this is actually a good one. Express contracts versus implied contracts. I actually genuinely enjoyed this one because check this out, right? So an express contract is a contract that an express contract is a contract if all terms and conditions are specified and agreed by the parties. So every single term is specified and agreed on. And an implied contract means that it's like I want to read it from the book, but I understand what it is, so I'm not going to read it from the book. But an implied contract means that it was implied. So for the example that he gave, and that's what really helped it click for me, is that let's say you hire a painter to paint your house and the exterior of your home, and the paint starts to peel. So you call the guy, the painter or the gal, and you say, hey, the paint of the exterior house is peeling. And the painter says, well, you didn't tell me that I had to paint the exterior of your home with exterior paint. I painted it with interior paint. Well, is it not common sense? I feel like implied contract is like common sense contract. It's common sense. If you're the expert, you need to paint the exterior of my home with exterior paint and not interior paint. Common sense. So yeah, that's why I kind of liked it. It's like, come on, man. Okay, then we also learned about void versus voidable contract. A void contract is unenforceable. So that means that it cannot be enforced under the law. So a contract can be void as a result of either it requires someone to do something illegal, it becomes illegal due to changes of the law, or it was legal but was declared null by the courts because it violated a fundamental principle. A voidable contract is a valid agreement that can be enforced. However, one of the parties to the contract can cancel or void or revoke the contract at any time. I hope I mentioned this is chapter 11. I think I did. This is chapter 11. Okay. Then we learned about termination of offers. So an offer can be terminated by the following. An offer is terminated by the following: acceptance. So let's say you have more than one offers. If you accept an offer somewhere else, obviously one of them is going to be terminated, or however many is going to be terminated. Withdrawal, rejection or counter offer, lapse of time. So it didn't meet the end of time criteria, death or insanity, or destruction of the property. Okay, and then okay, so then we got into legal remedies for breach of contract. There are 3 basic remedies for breach of contract. Number 1 is suit for cancellation. Basically, the party who was not in breach can go to court and request that the contract is canceled and to put the parties back into their original position. Number 2, suit for specific performance. The party who was not in default asks the court to require the other party to perform as agreed in the contract. This remedy is usually available in connection with the sale of real estate and is usually a remedy taken by the buyer. And then the 3rd basic remedy is suit for damages. Okay, so there are 2 types of damages: liquidated and unliquidated. Liquidated damages are liquidated damages usually involve the seller retaining the deposit in the event of a buyer default. Unliquidated damages are those that are not specified in the contract but are determined by a court. As is contracts, which according to the instructor is the most popular contracts now. It's either he said now or back then, but I think he said now. Okay, so as is contracts, that means the sellers of the residential property in Florida are required to disclose any material defects. If the seller does not disclose material defects that they are absolutely aware of, i.e., an illegal room, a room that was built without a permit is illegal. You know about it. You sell the home and you don't disclose that. The buyer, the city or whoever comes to the buyer's home, and is telling the buyer that they need to pay for the illegal renovations that were just done. the buyer can sue the seller for not disclosing that information. Now, if the agent failed to get a seller disclosure, which basically just asks, things that were changed to the home, is there anything that was built in the home that doesn't have a permit, is the roof leaking, blah, 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 blah. If the agent failed to obtain that information from the seller, and then it comes back to bite the buyer can and will sell, I'm not gonna say will because everyone's different, but can sell the agent because the agent failed to do what they're supposed to do. However, if the seller didn't disclose that information, then the buyer can sue the seller. That's basically what that means, what that is, okay? All right, exclusive right of sale listing. The exclusive, now we're going through the type of listing contracts. So there are residential listings, there are open listing, exclusive agency listing, and exclusive right of sale listing, which is the only listing that I have highlighted. Exclusive right of listing is a bilateral contract in which the property owner promises to pay a commission regardless of who sells the property. It gives the broker the best protection. The exclusive right of sale listing gives the broker the best protection. And then there are commercial listings. Oh, but I don't have anything highlighted for that. And then there are net listings, which we have to know how to do the net listing math for this section. And this is math also that I have to go back and look over. Okay, now we have